Hey guys, what's going on? My name is Zenaton, and welcome to today's video for Legends of Runeterra. It looks like we're still in spoiler season. Sort of. It also looks like this is going to be a much bigger card release than people were thinking of. We're getting more champions besides Viego for the Ruination event. We got Viego and another, and then of course we have all these other cards like the Ruined Dragons. But we also got another champion spoiled today, and that is AKSHAN. If you don't know who AKSHAN is, I wouldn't blame you because AKSHAN is actually not in League of Legends at the moment. AKSHAN is going to be the newest character, the newest champion in League of Legends, and it seems like they're also going to simultaneously, or at least very closely, release him in League of Legends alongside Legends of Runeterra. So, what is AKSHAN? AKSHAN is a Shurima champ, and he's very versatile, is a way to say him. Also, before we actually look at AKSHAN, I have a guess, and a lot of people are also guessing this too, is that this is not going to be the only champion we get. This and Viego, AKSHAN and Viego. A lot of people are guessing we might get Senna as well, because some people have found new voice lines for Senna in the game, the current Senna in game. So a lot of people are thinking maybe we'll get the champion version of Senna because Senna in League is also a champion already. Plus, Senna has a lot of lore relevance to the Ruination and the Sentinels of Light. But enough about that. Let's go and look at AKSHAN himself because there's a lot of cards to talk about because AKSHAN's very complex. I know, a lot of cards, like I said. Let's take it one card at a time. Let's start with the champion himself. Let's start with AKSHAN. AKSHAN is a 2-mana 2/2 with quick attack. Okay, pretty fine, like Diana's stat line, pretty much. When I'm summoned or strike, summon a Warlord's Palace or advance it one round if it's already in play. To level up AKSHAN, you have to complete the countdown on a Warlord's Palace. And when he levels up, you get to summon a Warlord's Horde. So what do those cards do? Well, Warlord's Palace. It's a 1-mana landmark that has countdown 8. Okay, similar to Frozen Thrall. Sure. When it counts down, you create a Relic of Power in hand. And when you target allies, advance it by 1. So you have basically 2 ways already to advance the landmark. You can either just target allies, or you can strike with action. Warlord's Palace is not Warlord's Palace. Relic of Power is a 0-mana fleeting spell at focus speed. So you got to play it once you get it. You got 3 options here. Pick one, of course. Predict, then draw 1. Pretty decent. It's a time trick, in other words. The second option, summon a Sandstone Charger, the 5/2 with Ephemeral. That's a little bit of a, in my opinion, the weakest of the 3 options. And then third option, which is grant all allies +1/+0. Not an insanely good buff, but at least it's permanent, so it's not bad. I feel like most of the time you're just probably going to use the time trick version, the first one, the predict and draw mode of this card. But, you know, versatility's nice. Being able to get a blocker at focus speed or an attacker at focus speed in the form of the Sandstone Charger is also really nice. Helps out reputation. And plus, like, a focus speed buff to all of your allies is pretty good if you want to do attacking. So, like, that's the biggest thing. Being able to do all of this without passing priority is really nice. And cards that are very versatile are always nice. So, what does a leveled up AKSHAN do? Okay, let's look at him. 2-mana 3/3 quick attack. Okay, +1/+1 stat line like normal. When I'm summoned, level up, or strike, summon a Warlord's Horde or advance 1 round. So, he's basically the same as level 1 AKSHAN, except instead of summoning palaces, he summons Warlord Hordes. And the Horde is much more powerful. Warlord Horde. Pretty much very similar to Warlord's Palace, 1-mana landmark, countdown 8. However, it creates a Sentinel's Horde in hand now when the countdown is finished. Also, when you target allies, advance it by 1, like the Palace. Sentinel's Horde is nuts, and it has to be, because this is a lot of work you're doing to get a leveled up AKSHAN in a Warlord's Horde. You get to either, it's a 0-mana fleeting spell with focus speed, just like the Relic of Power. Sentinel's Horde lets you choose from 3 things. You cast either the Absolver's Resurrection, a Font of Power, or a Shield of Sentinels. So, what do these cards do? Shield of Sentinels. These are all 0-mana focus speed spells. So again, like with the Relic of Power, you're not going to pass priority to your opponent, so that's nice. At focus speed, grant champions everywhere, your champions everywhere, spell shield and +2/+2. Also, again, quick note, since they're all focus speed, your opponent can't react to them. They can't play like a deny or a noblify or anything. So these are going to go off guaranteed. The next one, grant all enemies vulnerable and create in hand a 0-cost copy of the strongest ally that died this game. Not an ephemeral copy, not a fleeting copy. It seems like it's just an actual copy that's going to just stick around once you play it. Plus, it says ally, doesn't say follower, so that includes champions, so that's nice. And the third card is, it's basically Pot of Greed. Draw 2 cards, and then your cards cost 1 less this round. So, how do we evaluate this? Like, yes, I see it. I see Sentinel's Horde. It's shiny. It's very like, wow, that's a lot of value. Like, giving champions +2/+2 and spell shield. Basically, your champions for the rest of the game, spell shield and +2/+2 is insanely good. Drawing 2, honestly, like as much as I love drawing cards and playing control, the draw 2 I feel like is probably the weakest. I feel like you're only going to choose the draw 2, the Font of Power, if you're far behind, or if you're in a more controlling matchup and you need to find something very specific like a deny or something. Because Absolver's Resurrection, the grant all enemies vulnerable and create a 0-cost copy of the strongest ally, is a game winner. Shield of Sentinels buffs up a lot of your champs, or all of your champs, basically. So think like Lee Sins and stuff, and AKSHAN himself. So, I don't know. I feel like, as much as I love to draw cards, I probably will choose card draw the least. Or maybe not. It really depends on like exactly how to build AKSHAN. Now, we also have 2 other spells. We have AKSHAN's Champion Spell and the Absolver. Let's look at his Champion Spell first. The Grappling Hook. AKSHAN's Grappling Hook. 3-mana slow spell. An ally that has been targeted this round strikes an enemy. Okay. For a champ spell, I like it. I think it's a very strong champion spell. I don't think it's not on the level of like the old Pale Cascade with Diana, which was just a crazy good spell on its own. And of course, like, so it made Diana really good because Pale Cascade was broken. I don't think this is an amazing card, but I do think it might actually be constructed playable. I could see myself actually playing Grappling Hook in a deck, even if I'm not playing AKSHAN. And my main reason for that is it's in Shurima. And Shurima, their removal suite is kind of bad, in all honesty. Like, look at Shurima. Their main way of removing creatures outside of secondary regions like Noxus or Demacia or whatever is giving units vulnerable. Think through things like Merciless Hunter and other such things. Exhaust. Now, the only issue and the only reason I am a little hesitant to say that this will see play is because you have to target something. You have to have something like a spell or something like a gem or whatever to target one of your allies. Of course, your opponent could like Mystic Shot it, of course, or something, but it has to survive that. But yeah, that's the only reason I think it might not be playable, is that it might be dead a lot of the time. That and the fact that it's a slow speed spell. Slow speed kind of holds back Grappling Hook from seeing a lot of play, in my opinion. Now, the last card, the Absolver. Pretty sweet card here, I think. 2-mana burst speed spell. Give an ally +2/+1 this round. If you have leveled a champion this game, create an the Absolver's Return in hand. The Absolver's Return is a fleeting cost spell, or a fleeting spell. Okay, so you gotta play it once you get it. 2-mana burst spell. Give an ally Overwhelm and +2/+1 this round. Okay, so it's basically another copy of Absolver, except it also gives you Overwhelm as well as a +2/+1. So 4 mana for +4/+2 and Overwhelm, and you can split it between 2 different units. That's very versatile. Now, the biggest issue I have with the card is if you haven't leveled up a champion, this card is bad. Like, it's really trash. Like, think about it. Shapestoned is a 1-mana +3/+1 if you play a landmark, and it's not that hard to play a landmark because of things like Rock Hoppers and Preservariums and stuff. So, I feel like you're only going to play Absolver in a deck that can level up a champion easily. Now, I really like Action, though. I like Action because he is the kind of champion I like in this game. Not a very shoehorned champion that gets shoehorned into certain archetypes. Think like Nautilus, Pike, um, I don't know, Yasuo kind of, where they have to have a certain thing going for them. Like Yasuo needs stuns. Nautilus cannot live without sea monsters. Pike has to be lurkers, etc., etc. Pike doesn't necessarily have to be lurkers, but you know what I'm saying here. Action, on the other hand, for me, you know what he reminds me of? He kind of reminds me of Twisted Fate. Besides the fact that they're both very handsome men, Twisted Fate is a very versatile card. Less so now because he's been nerfed, but back when Twisted Fate was really at the top of his power level, he was really versatile. You would see him in all kinds of decks. TF Gangplank, TF Ezreal, TF Swain, TF Jinx, TF Fizz, etc., etc., etc. That's what I think is going to happen with Action. I feel like, and also similar to TF, most of the time you would play TF and you didn't really care too much about the level up. The level up was kind of like a little bit of icing on the cake kind of thing, outside of certain decks like TF Fizz, which actually tried to level him up in like a single turn or something. That's what I look at it as Action. I feel like Action is going to get summoned and he'll summon like a Warlord's Palace or something the first time. And then he'll probably die and then he'll be like, okay, whatever, I got the palace. Let me like target my own allies to advance the palace that way, etc., etc. If they don't kill Action, then you can use them to attack in because 2-mana 2/2 quick attack, somewhat safe on the attack. To try and advance the palace. And if he levels up with a first action, you're happy. And unlike TF, he doesn't need to be on the board to level up. He doesn't need to see the palace have the countdown finish. So the second action, the first action will probably just die, in all honesty. The second action, I feel, is when you want to only play the second action when you've leveled him up. Of course, this is all situational depending on the game and the matchups, etc., etc. But that's how I'm looking to play Action. So, what champion goes well with this? I think there's a lot of potential here. Think like I'm looking at things like Aphelios. Riot was showing off Riven with Action because Riven makes the shards. You can use the shards to target your stuff, advance that, etc., etc. But yeah, I like Aphelios just to have these backline champs to generate value. I like some of these cards for Lee Sin. So Action Lee Sin. People tried Shurima Lee Sin at the very start of when Shurima basically first came out. It didn't really work out. It was not as good as Zoe Lee Sin, Targan Lee Sin, basically. But the Absolver is a good way to give Overwhelm. Like, that was the biggest issue with Shurima Lee Sin. They tried to get Overwhelmed by using Treasure, or whatever it's called. Lucky Finds? That's it. But now you don't have to try and RNG your way with Lucky Finds. You can just use the Absolver because it's relatively easy to level a Lee Sin. You just play spells. Actions, landmark spells, the Sentinel's Horde and Relic of Power, all have decent options for Lee Sin. First off, the Relic of Power is also another spell for Lee Sin, so that's pretty good. They're all focus speed, so you don't have to pass priority with Lee Sin. Relic of Power lets you draw, predict, then draw, so it helps you find the Lee Sin, just like how Time Trick lets you find certain cards. It can help buff up your Lee Sin if you want a little extra power on that Lee Sin. Sentinel's Horde, getting Shield of Sentinels gives you a spell shield on your Lee Sin and a little extra power, so his Dragon Kick hits a little harder. Get Font of Power to just draw more cards to find some more things like your Lee Sins. Absolver's Resurrection is kind of like a nice backup plan, sort of. Also can be used if your Lee Sin was the strongest thing to get another copy of Lee Sin when your Lee Sin dies. So that for me is the deck I'm looking forward to. But I could see other things. Like I can see maybe Targan Action with like Zoe. I think this is more of a meme, but Action Talia copying Warlord's Palace and Warlord Hordes seems pretty cute. I just think there's a lot of viability and versatility here with Action, but I have no idea how to evaluate them. I don't know if Action is going to be a good card. I feel like compared to a lot of other champions, I could be like, yeah, this champ looks like it's going to be bad. Yeah, this champ looks like it'll be good. I really just can't tell with Action. He's just really hard to evaluate, but I like him. I'm a big fan of this card. I love that he's not shoehorned into a certain archetype, and I love that it seems like He can go with various types of champions. I love the value he's bringing. Just a really fun card. The only issue I'm afraid of is you might run out of room thanks to the landmarks. Also, before you say, like, because I mentioned Talia, why not just play Turbo Thralls if you want to do, like, Talia decks? I mean, like, look, I'm trying to think of decks, okay? Don't kill me here. But yeah, I like Action. I think Action's going to be fun. I'll try him out with Lee Sin. I think Lee Sin Action, in my opinion, is probably going to be the most likely best home for Action, but maybe Action will be best in another deck that we can't even think of at the moment. And plus, we might have more cards that will be shown off in the next couple of days. So maybe those new cards will be able to create a brand new archetype. Maybe we'll see Senna, and Senna Action will be a thing. But yeah, that's going to be it, though. Maybe I'm missing something here about Action. I'd love to hear any kind of ideas you have for building Action, because he looks like he's going to be really fun to build with. I'd love to hear it down in the comments below. But if you just enjoyed the video in general, I'd love it if you could leave a comment or like down below. And if you guys want to keep up with Legends of Runeterra content, you can always go and subscribe to the channel. Also, if you want to watch me play some Legends of Runeterra, you can always go and check me out over on Twitch at twitch.tv/Zenaton. I stream there pretty much every single day. Anyway, though, with that all said and done, thank you all again once more for watching this video. And until I see you guys in the next one, bye!